If you're looking potentially to make over $2,300 per month publishing simple books on Amazon, then join us as we take a look at this surprisingly popular book that I actually came across by accident that can easily be created in 1 to 2 hours or even less with the tools I'm going to show you in this video. You could create a part-time or second income or even a full-time income with just your computer at home or from anywhere in the world for that matter to create a nice passive income. Sound interesting? Then follow along and even get a pen and paper to take down some notes. So what are these books? Well, they are bucket list journals like this one here. And if we look inside, they are very basic and simple to create. But don't worry about that because I'll show you where you can get ready-made interiors and graphics to create the covers. I'll also show you the steps I go through to decide which books are worth chasing and also how to get that all-important traffic and eyeballs on your books, which is vital to making those sales. So when we're looking at what books to publish and generally whether it's worth our time, we have to do a bit of basic research into the genre or niche as it's called. We want to know if there's a demand for the books we're planning to create, which is where the profits lie. And you can use this method to come up with other profitable books to create. Now to do this, I go to Amazon and do a really broad generic search. In this case, bucket list journal. What I'm looking for are books published on the KDP platform with low bestsellers ranks. The lower the bestsellers ranks, the more the book is making sales and therefore profits. I have a plugin installed called DS Amazon Quick View that will give me this information. When I hover over a book, you can see it gives the bestsellers rank and, in this case, 195,585 and whether it is independently published, which means it's been published on the KDP platform. In some situations, it will say create space instead of independently published. What we are looking for are a few books with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000 on the first page, ideally 3 or more. Why only the first page? Well, that's because on the whole, most traffic and therefore purchases are going to come to and from the first page. Customers like to browse, so any books on the first page have the potential to sell really well. The higher up on the first page, however, the better. So let's go ahead and put in our broad search term. Here, we've got a bucket list prompt journal, KDP published, and as you can see here, a bestsellers rank of 195,585, which, if we use this book sales calculator at tckpublishing.com, makes about $100 to $150 a month, as a profit on each book is about $2.50. I actually find this calculator to underestimate a bit when it comes to sales, but that looks very promising. So let's look inside. Very basic prompts which encourage the reader to make a list of their big to-do dreams, how to make it happen and when the dream is completed. So it's a book that you can take part in and also create a collection of memories. It's not only a valuable purchase but also makes a great gift. Next, let's look at some other books. Here's one, Bucket List of National Parks to Visit. Now it's getting interesting because we've got a subcategory or sub-niche of the general bucket list theme and it's already sparking some ideas, which personally I would write down. Things like states, heritage sites, war memorials, even mountain climbs. See where we're going with this? But what makes this even more interesting is this, the price, $9.99, which gives a healthy profit of $3.37 and the low bestsellers rank of 20,547, which equates to about 170 to 330 sales a month, about $573 to $1,112 profit a month. Nice. Let's look inside. Again, very basic and easily creatable. Now let's scroll down the list. Here's another with a bestsellers rank of 14,809, which, when we do the calculations, as I've demonstrated, gives a profit of $1,191 to $2,382 per month, which is excellent. What I also like is that at these prices, the healthy profit margin means it's a viable product on which to run Amazon ads. So this ticks all the boxes and is a niche we can see as potentially profitable and should make us want to go on to the next step, the interior and cover designs. Before we do that, however, if you've got some useful information so far and want more on KD Publishing, then hit the subscribe button and give that little like button a tickle. YouTube likes it and we do here. Now, you can create the interior yourself using Canva, which is free, PowerPoint, Keynote, or something like Adobe Illustrator or even InDesign if you have them. It all comes down to preference. I create all mine in Illustrator, although I've just started to experiment with Affinity Designer. But if you want ready-made and all done for you, let's head over to my favourite graphic supplier, Creative Fabrica, and see what they've got there. I'll leave a link below to Creative Fabrica. I've got a subscription there and they have fonts, interiors and graphics that you can use commercially and on print-on-demand products like KDP books. And they are incredible value for the amount of time they save you. So I'll put in bucket list into the search box and here we have some results, which is promising. Let's take a closer look at this one. It's 6 by 9 inches. It comes in PDF and PowerPoint files, which I'm going to download. The PDF file is actually ready to upload without you needing to do anything. But I'm going to show you something which I feel is very important and which I feel you must do if you're going to be successful in this business and stand out in the crowd. And that is make your interior unique. So let's open the PowerPoint file we've just downloaded and open it up in Keynote. You can open this in PowerPoint if you've got Windows or Keynote if you're on Mac OS. It's got 100 pages, but you can easily add more pages by just copying and pasting. But this is the important thing and what I would do. That is, modify the interior and make it unique. You can change the font. I'm not keen on this Comic Sans font. You can move the lines around, change the headings, and just change it up a bit and make something different. Now, let's look at some cover graphics. I just put in national parks into the search and look at what came up. Some very nice retro graphics similar to the ones we've just seen on Amazon. And you can modify them and combine them with a nice retro font. But don't just think about these, think about the other books we mentioned. Mountains, climbs, countries, heritage sites. Search for those on Creative Fabrica too. Now, and this is probably the most important aspect of publishing low content books, and that is getting traffic to our books, which means getting customers to see our books. And that comes down to the keywords. These are the words that customers type into the search bar on Amazon. And when they do that, we want our books to appear on the first page of the search results, ideally at the top of the first page. So how do we find our keywords? Well, we put in our initial search term into the Amazon search bar on Amazon. In this case, it was bucket list journal. And that, by the way, goes into a keyword spreadsheet that we're going to create as our first keyword. Now, the most important metric I look at when we do that is the number of search results. And as we can see here, the number of search results is 1,000. And that's good. Anything 1,000 and below means that the competition isn't huge. And so there's a good chance that we could get our books ranked on the first page. And as we know from the bestsellers ranks of these books, they are making sales. So we've got a keyword that we can rank for and that we know has books making sales. One thing I want to mention, however, I'm looking in the all category and not the books category. I've done a video on the reason why, which I'll link to in the description below. Very important to watch that one if you want to understand it. So I'll write down the number of search results in my spreadsheet. I also have a plugin called Keywords Everywhere, which will tell me where available what the Google search numbers are, which you can see here is 1,600 a month for our keyword. So that just gives the keyword that bit of extra strength and potential for our book listings to appear in Google. You have to pay £10 for that information, and that gives you 100,000 credits, which, to be honest, lasts quite a while. So that Google search number will also go down on my spreadsheet. So how do we find the other keywords? Well, Look what happens when I type in the keyword. We get these suggestions from Amazon and also suggestions from a plugin I have installed called AMZ Suggestion Expander. These suggestions from Amazon are important because they are telling us what customers are searching for, and also they are search terms that customers will click on when they do their searching. So now I take these keywords, put each one in the search bar and go through this whole process looking at search result numbers and build this spreadsheet with the keywords, the Amazon search results, and where available, the Google monthly searches. However, I've done all this for you to save you even more time, and I've uploaded it to my Gumroad store where I also have other keyword lists for sale. As a thank you for getting this far in the video, I'm giving you this list for free in the shop, or you can donate if you like, which helps keep this channel going. I'll leave the link to the Gumroad store down below in the description. Now, if you want to learn more about how I do my keyword research in depth, then watch this video next, or watch this playlist on my book publishing tutorials. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and until next time, goodbye.